Gentlemen,
You've got a LaCroix?
a La Croix. I would say La Croix.
I don't know if I've had lime. I've had lemon.
Have you had pamplemousse? Pamplemousse is grapefruit.
Oh, is that a good one?
It's all right. I'm not totally sold on these waters, these
Yeah,
flavored sparkling
I know.
waters. It's better than normal water, I guess, every now and then. Just gives you a
Yeah.
little taste of something.
Change it up a little bit.
But I don't know.
They're good for you, right? We're not going to find out in a couple of years. Like,
not-
oh, yeah, it's causing toe cancer.
They're not good for you. I just don't think they're super bad for you.
Oh, really? See, I thought that was like a
Just
health
water,
drink.
man.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not that it's good for you. It's just that it's not pop.
Yeah.
It's just something
Yeah.
flavored and not having, which is not.
They have not gotten that down yet, how to make something as enjoyable as pop.
I
but
disagree
not
with
be bad.
I think pop sucks. I've
Really?
thought pop sucked for a long, long
Yeah,
time. I don't
but
get
you're
any
weird.
enjoyment out of that. The
You
syrupy,
used to, right?
syrupy nature of it. As a mixer, yeah. Like Coke and
Yeah, Jack and Coke or something.
something like that, or
But-
Jim Beam.
It's hard to judge with you because what with your history of town country was your reference point growing up, and or town club, whatever
club.
it was. Like you had to drink fake stuff. You like
True.
Tab.
Yeah,
You
no,
know?
I didn't like Tab. My mom loved it.
Yeah.
And we talked about that the other day. There was a dryness to it that
Something weird.
couldn't be overcome. So gross. But it was the first diet pop, so that was a big thing.
That's so funny. I learned that when you'd said that. I was like, really? That's why it must have sucked, because it was diet.
Yeah.
Did it say diet? Like,
Yeah, that was their thing. It's like, oh yeah, the first diet,
really?
no sugar, sugar-free, blah,
Yeah.
blah.
I love learning new things like that. You're like, who knew? I learned something new today.
What's
I
that?
had no idea the special counsel for this Mueller report was semi-retarded. I had no idea he was special needs. Did you know that?
Lots of
actual
non-answers.
Special needs or
Holy shit.
Lots of non-answers today.
Did he work on that report? Because I'm getting the picture that I'm starting to think he had no idea that this report was going on.
Dude, my takeaway from this, and I watched very little of his prior press conference where he stood up there and just grandstanded for 5 minutes and then got off. And his whole message then was like, I'm not going to testify. This is the last time you're going to see me about
Yeah,
this.
I don't know shit about it.
I watched very little of that, but my takeaway from watching a bit today is that, God, he's an old man. He just comes off as a super old man,
Yes.
often stammering, seeming hapless at times,
What-
mouth agape.
What?
Mouth
What,
agape.
what was that?
Yeah, I mean,
Can you repeat that?
Dude, I imagine this guy lower voice plus really like authoritative presence. He would just take control of the place. Like I've worked with
Totally.
lawyers who are just you like get out of their way. You're like, oh shit,
Yeah.
man. I mean that guy's got the room
All
right now.
business, yeah.
That's what I imagined of this guy, and he's just like, what?
Not in my purview. That's not in my purview.
I'm not gonna comment on that.
He seemed
just
like
seems
a
like-
hapless old man. You wanted to, you almost help him. You wanted to grab him by an arm. Like, oh, okay, let's go over here, Mr. Mueller. Come on, have a seat. See,
Yeah.
maybe spoon feed him some soft
Yeah.
food.
And a lot of that is by design. Obviously, he doesn't want to be on record answering shit and saying anything that's gonna smack his credibility. But he loses credibility by looking like a hapless asshole.
I thought he lost tremendous credibility, and I think the pushback that was done by I think the left looked retarded today.
Dude,
They
I think they both look retarded.
well, they do.
This is
but
so stupid.
He looked outmatched and outgunned when it came to them pointing out obvious failures in this investigation, the way it was done, the way it's supposed to be done, what the law says. Like they were hammering direct shit. He's like, well, I don't remember that. I don't know. And I'm like, dude.
It's hard to say how much of that is just misdirection. Like, I don't consult the report, consult my 448-page report for that information, and how much is just stupidity.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times these guys honestly just want to get through here without sort of like perjuring themselves or saying anything inconsistent with prior statements. So it's hard to say. There's not this guy in public so much. Maybe back in the day he did a lot of testifying when he was CIA director and so forth, but he seems to have been out of the public long enough where, I don't know, this didn't seem like supernatural for him.
No, that's a great point. It didn't, and the stammering, the clueless looks on his face. Oh, over here, sir. And,
I know. I wonder if Chelsea Handler still wants to bang him. Remember that whole thing?
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah,
probably
he
not.
Just looked like an old man.
It's just. Do you think the members of the Senate knew that it was going to be like that he was going to be like that? I know they all go in with a strategy.
Yeah, dude, he was trying to dodge this big time. I think they all knew that he'd try to dodge the questions to the extent.
I mean,
and he's somewhat smart to do that. Refer to my report. Go see my report. As
which is
stated
why
in my
it
report.
seems stupid. He said, "I'm not going to elaborate more on things. Blah blah blah. It's a unique situation, and my report. But to have these people, it was like their moment. Like I really believe that the Democrats wanted to get this dude on record since no one read the damn thing. Get this guy's voice explaining this story. Take us to page 323, paragraph 7. What did you mean there? Well, it says here. And he's just like, yeah, go to the report.
Right.
Or what?
He was this tells me that he was very savvy about this in a lot of regards, where they would ask him to read a portion, and he'd say, like, you can go ahead and read that part. I'll read it to myself.
Yeah.
Because he knows they just want the soundbite.
Yeah.
Him sitting there reading some damning thing about Trump or
They didn't get
the
it.
other way.
I don't think they got the soundbite. I mean, the sound bites are going to be the grandstanding harumph from some asshole with a nameplate.
I didn't watch too much of it, but I didn't really hear anything new.
Yeah. Well, I liked when you had guys, and John Ratcliffe will be one that you hear about a lot if you watch the news programs. John Ratcliffe was very pointed, and you can tell which of these guys are attorneys, and which ones aren't. But, and I won't do it justice. I'll read. I wrote down what he said. But he said, all the time we were guided by and followed Justice Department policy. Like, that's how this starts. And he's like, so which Department of Justice policy says a person investigated is not exonerated if their innocence from criminal conduct is not conclusively determined? And he's like, oh, I can't. He said, outside of the President of the United States, when does a prosecutor make a determination that someone well, I couldn't exonerate him? That's not how the law works, sir. Can you name one person outside the President of the United States that you've ever known a prosecutor to do that to? And he's like, oh, no. It's like, yeah, dude, that sucks. And the guy that's like, you are right, sir. The President of the United States is not above the law, but he damn sure isn't below the law either. What you've done today is a complete injustice to the law.
Yeah, I would say above the law was the phrase du jour, right?
Yes.
No one's above the law. Isn't that true, sir?
That's not even true, by the way. I mean, you know what I mean?
There's lots of people above the law.
Lots of people that are above the law.
Tons of people are above the law. So what was the one? It was written, this was to be under the law. This was not authorized under the law to be written. It was written to a legal standard that doesn't exist at the Justice Department. It was written in violation of every Department of Justice principle. That's the guy that went on. He's not above the law, but he's sure damn hell isn't below it either. And then Jim Jordan. We've seen Jim Jordan a lot. He's the Ohio guy.
Yeah, I'd probably know him.
You'd know him if you saw him, but he drilled down on the Papadopoulos thing, and I thought that was interesting because I haven't heard people talk about this. And you know what?
Webster's dad, George
Papadopoulos, exactly. And I don't know where Ma'am is in this, if she's still around, or how Webster's doing. He's still with us, right? We lost the
Emmanuel
other one.
Lewis. Yeah, we lost Gary Coleman, right? Did we lose Emmanuel? Jesus, you go that.
Emmanuel Lewis. That's gonna be a problem for E.
Luckily,
Into the mic.
luckily, DuckDuckGo and all those things are pretty fast with correcting you.
Are they?
Looks like he's still alive.
Oh, good.
Really?
Thank God.
There's not a death date anywhere?
No, born March 9th, 1971, and it just says by his Wikipedia, 48 years old.
It's my understanding
Wow.
we did lose Alex Karras, however, but you're telling me.
Oh, yeah,
otherwise.
no, absolutely.
He's
George
actually
Papadopoulos.
convicted in this.
Yes, he was convicted of lying to the FBI in their
He's
thing.
listed as occupation actor, years 1982 to present.
Oh,
Wow.
to present. Is that
I would
right?
say 1982 to 19.
He's-
How long did Webster air?
At this point, he's acting like an actor. He has
So
been
he's-
since '86.
He's a waiter who considers himself an actor. He's
Right.
one of those, I guess. So he breaks down. Jim Jordan breaks down, and I thought, Mueller looked like a moron here too, not following along. Like, dude, you had full scope to do all of this investigation. Papadopoulos is convicted of lying to you. Throw the fucking book at him. He tells a diplomat Russians have dirt on Clinton. The diplomat calls the FBI. The investigation begins. This is where, based on that information, it started. Can you tell me who told Papadopoulos that they had dirt on the Clintons? I can't get into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. It's in your report. His name is Joseph Mifsud. He's like, it's like, you interviewed him. He lied 3 times. 3 times that guy lied to you guys. Any reason you didn't charge him with lying to the, to officials? I can't speak to that. Oh,
Is it a fair assumption that this dude was really a figurehead over this whole investigation, and that he had a
Honestly,
team of lawyers doing all the groundwork?
there is buzz of that this guy might have been really removed from this, like put together some sort of team, was the nameplate.
Yeah.
He didn't seem to know that much when that dude, this is going to be a problem. I don't know if this is considered lying to, the FBI by their standards. Maybe it is. But when they said, Fusion GPS was owned by Glenn Simpson and blah, 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 and that's where this started. The dossier comes into play.
Dossier.
And they mentioned Fusion GPS a couple times. Like, so did you look into Fusion GPS? He's like, I don't know what that is. Like, you don't know what Fusion GPS is. What? You're running this thing.
Yeah, that's incredible.
How do you that had to be, I'm not familiar with that. You're not familiar with, okay, Fusion GPS. All right. The other guy that I thought was really powerful, I didn't know him until today. Guy Russian Thaler or something. He's a former military guy, officer of the U.S. JAG Corps, he's like, I've prosecuted hundreds of terrorists in Baghdad courtroom.
I saw that guy
Cross-examined the butcher of Fallujah.
He was interrupting Mueller the entire time. He wouldn't let him answer the question. He simply
just
wanted to
wanted
grandstand.
Yeah.
He wanted to get his question on the record.
But
It's really annoying.
I like hearing guys that are like, look, I've done this. As a civilian, I was elected magistrate district judge in Pennsylvania, so I'm very familiar with U.S. law. He's laying out his credentials because we don't know who he is. So he's got to do that. And the drafting and publication of this report flies in the face of American justice, and I find this entire thing very un-American. Hell yeah, just go get him. It's fun. It's fun to watch, but I don't think we accomplished anything here. You know what I mean? Like, I do think, though, the clock is ticking, and I think Bill Barr is going to fucking hammer some people, because that whole not being able to talk about the Steele dossier, it's still
Dossier.
It's being litigated, or it's being investigated now. Mm-hmm. That is entirely disturbing. You know what I mean? Like, where did this start? Who paid for it? And I want to know, fucker, when did you know that these things weren't, that he didn't obstruct? Or
he was asked that, and he dodged it big time, didn't he?
He dodged everything. And you're right. And I knew from discussions with you that's probably the best play. It's like, don't be on record saying shit, because then, that was the whole reason people didn't want Trump to testify. Nah, dude, you're a blabbermouth. You're not capable of fucking not getting in trouble. You're just
especially
not.
In this instance where Mueller has a 448-page, is it 448? I think
it is. Yeah,
page report to refer to. Why would you add any substance? He'd be an absolute fool to.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else of note in there.
Mine was more just the optics. My takeaway is just like, holy cow, this guy's just sounds like an old man. He looks like a hapless old man.
Yeah.
It's just, wow.
Do you think it's
I didn't
possible
expect that.
I
thought he'd go in there, I'm Bob Mueller.
Yeah, we've seen those guys. Sir, let me finish. Let me finish.
Yeah.
Can I finish what I was
I
going to say?
stand by my report and the people who worked with me.
It's not in my purview.
Yeah,
Sir, can you speak into the microphone?
No, I'm not going to comment on that.
Sorry about that. It's funny. It's interesting you caught the voice, too. Like, his voice you thought would be more powerful. When I first had it on, I was sitting there in the kitchen. The TV was on. And
you didn't think it was him, huh?
I
thought
didn't.
It was someone else.
I was like, who the fuck is that nerd? And I looked up and I was like, oh, shit, he's starting. What? It was just kind of this weird,
fit,
it didn't fit this powerful jawline we keep seeing, tall stature
perfectly
of a man.
combed hair.
Oh, yeah.
Parted.
Here's a guy that's got a Purple Heart and a fucking Medal of Honor for his service with Marines.
And by the way, every
Vietnam.
single congressman who questions him has to go through that whole resume, right?
Yeah.
Thank him for his service, and no one can deny that you've given great service to our country.
Well, every Democrat did that.
Yeah.
First,
some Republicans did too.
They did. Some of them did, and they would end it with, "That said."
Well, the problem too
is
the Democrat, what's his name, was so clear on when the time was up. So the Republicans were literally just reading from a script.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 and they wouldn't even want the question. They wouldn't want the answer to the question half the time.
Yeah.
They just want to get to their next
He
question.
would go, sir, I've got limited time. Yeah. Sir, I've got limited time. Shut the fuck up. I don't care what you have to say.
And I think that was also perhaps a savvy move by Mueller in that he'd say, could you start that over again? I didn't catch that question. And the guy'd be like, no, forget it. Moving on to the next one.
The funny thing too is when they did, can you repeat that question? They'd go, "Fuck, that was in paragraph 2 of my notes,"
know.
and they'd stammer to find
Yes.
where it was.
So cringeworthy.
You know what no.
Dude, I've mentioned this before. It is a huge pet peeve of mine. These Congress people who work up these questions and they've got it all ready. They're
Yeah.
going to just slam this guy with the question. And they get the question out and the guy goes, no. And they're just like, shit,
Okay.
I thought he was going to say yes.
Okay.
Well, are you sure? I'm sure the answer is no.
Yes.
Well, the way I read it would be that your answer is yes.
They just
And if
want to
that
be.
was the case,
they
then-
want to. They want to end their thing. They just want to be on video. For the night for the news sitcoms that are starting later on, going. The president didn't obstruct justice, but you perpetuated injustice by dragging this out for 2 years.
Yeah.
They want that
Yes.
soundbite to lead the
Yeah.
news.
They could also use it in a campaign video down the line.
Totally. When we saw injustice, we stood up to it. It doesn't matter. No one is too powerful to be stood up to. Congressman approved by Congressman Gates. This message approved. It's but they knew today the country was going to be watching. It's going to be on Twitter, and Twitter was hilarious. Twitter was like, "Oh shit, I didn't know that he was an old man who was fucking like a weirdo pussy. Did he even work on this thing?" Like, you expected the left to be one side, like, "Yeah, he's killing it, blah, he's crushing." The right to be like, "Yeah, this guy's getting his ass handed."
No,
to
but
him.
everybody all around was just like, wow, old
why,
guy.
Why are they able to beat up this old man? Someone stop! This is bullying.
That's awesome.
This is bullying. I'm reading it, and nobody was like, "This is good content. This is good stuff." People are just like, "Hang it up, dude. Put it away, bro. It's over. Now your career's looking stupid." Like, here's this guy with his credentialed career that's unvarnished and perfect and blah blah blah. And it's like, oh, dude, you look like a dope right now. This isn't the way you want to go out. Should have just not answered that phone call when it came in.
Bob.
Sorry. He's going to go home and he's going to have that fucking wife we've only seen video of walking with him down the street or something. She's going to have to go, "It wasn't that bad," as she's making him dinner. "No, Bob, you did great." And he's rubbing his shoulder. "No, I stinked. Went up there and everyone said I stinked and I'm old." Poor guy.
Hey everybody, The Blind Biz. It's the place for blinds, shutters, and all types of shades. They service a wide area of Michigan, and listener Rich offers free consultations, shop-at-home appointments, and free installation. Rich started The Blind Biz in 2002. He handles all aspects of the business, from call to consultation to installation. TheBlindBiz.com is the website. Mention TDC, and Rich will honor 20% off of your blinds purchase over $399 with some exclusions.
Wow. Nice of him to do.
That is nice.
Yeah. That's what we can do for you. The Senate did get some other shit done
What?
yesterday.
What?
Yeah. They voted to extend the 9/11 victim compensation fund through 2092.
And this was per Jon Stewart's tearful requests
Yes.
over the last month.
Didn't hurt.
I really
right?
didn't pay attention to this. I kept seeing footage, though, of Jon Stewart weeping.
Yeah. Well, he was like, he was all pissed off that the senators weren't all sitting there. Some of them weren't there. It's like, this is an absolute disgrace. These people have dragged themselves here in wheelchairs and on breathing machines to plead their case to you guys, and you don't even show up. It was offensive. I don't think it was, I don't think there was a real scare that they weren't going to fund this. But to not just do it outright, I think they said
That was
this
the problem.
fund will dry up by 2020. And, it went through, it passed, almost unanimously, 97-2. And it's like, who are the fucking two that don't want to fund the 9/11 victim,
And who are they
fund?
trying to sell to? Like, you think at that point, like, I would think, like, if it came out, like, I don't know if I kind of don't know if this is one of those things where they're doing it live and they all see who's voting. But if I was even gonna say no, and I'm like, fuck, it's been like 88 in a row, yes. Fuck it, I don't want to. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Like who are they trying to
Well,
sell?
it's, we know who they are. That we get to know who.
I know.
Voted which
I know
way,
you
but
do.
Of course, Mike Lee, some douche from Utah.
But who's he trying to sell? That's what I don't
But
understand. Who's he trying to-
Rand Paul's the second.
Yeah.
Instead of Rand, it's like Rand. Optics matter too, brah. I know. He's trying to stand on the. I can in good conscience with $22 trillion in debt. We don't have a plan to pay this. Like, what are we offsetting it with? And it's like, you know what, man? Not the hill to die on. You're just known as the dude who voted against funding the 9/11 victim thing. Like, everybody in the country agrees. Yes, those were heroes, and they've had horrible existences, a lot of them since then. don't even be associated with the two that don't vote for whatever reason. Even if you're right, the optics are that bad. You need elections at some point too. Don't you
Yeah, but
think?
he wants to be able to stand on that 100% record, right? I've always stood up against spending in Washington, blah blah blah. I didn't want to vote for it because of this, but I would have voted for it had it been this amount. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
I'm sure he has an angle.
But the public is stupid, and when
Yeah, but everybody
election
knows
time,
Rand Paul's shtick, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's more known for fucking getting his ass kicked on his lawnmower and his curly hair at this point. You know what I mean? He's got to change it up. Now it's he doesn't want to fund this.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, you can just see that the ad campaign starting out of the next election cycle. Senator Rand Paul didn't care about 9/11 first responders. He's one of only two to vote no. You know, there's some shitty
He's a principled man.
where they're showing the American flag in the background and first responders and smoke. And so he voted to turn these down, not fund their health care for life. So it's like just the optics alone.
And so what is it? Hundreds of people are afflicted with these sort of respiratory issues from the cleanup and so forth. Yeah.
I think they said 19,000
Oh my God.
people. I thought that's what it said. Sorry, I got something in my throat. Let's see, affecting approximately 93,000 first responders.
Oh my God.
Yeah, first responders and survivors still being treated or monitored.
93,000 first responders. I wouldn't have put it in that ballpark of the number of people who were even there, let alone suffering
Yeah.
from something.
You think there's some people faking it, saying I was there? Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, right.
93,000. That does seem really high. But that was a big cleanup. So maybe, I mean, they could be talking about construction people that were there.
Big cleanup.
Honestly, they could, you know, it could involve any first responder on whatever level that gets sick. You know, that toxic dust of the
Yeah.
crushed glass and concrete. And yeah, it was not good. But anyways, the bill was passed by the House 402 to 12 earlier this month. Now it goes before Trump. He will sign that. So they'll get the funding. They always would. God, man, going through the news the last couple weeks, or really forever, but it's just so disturbing how many people don't know how to fucking behave in the world, in society. Can't just like the lack of
That's a common theme of our show, isn't it?
I know.
the lack of respect for human life.
It's blown me away for doing this. Honestly, doing this show and having us talk about these stories and watching videos of whatever we watch. I read stories that I don't even bring to you all of them because there's just so many every day of there was some lady in California I just saw, you know, who she wanted to get on she had a fast pass to get on Tower of Terror or something. And they're like, sorry, for whatever reason, you don't have the right pass. And she starts getting pissed to the point where she's yelling at this dude and starts pressing buttons just on the thing. She just starts pressing buttons.
On the
and he's
ride?
like, yes, and he's like, ma'am, this could affect the ride.
Holy shit.
And he starts to push her back, and she punches him. And it's like...
Yeah, you should have brought us that story, E. That sounds
I'm
hilarious.
sorry, dude. But you know, my point of saying that... so yeah, she could have brought it, but like my point is I see them every fucking day, and it's like, this is a person, a human being, and she's like...
People are losing it.
Yeah.
Remember that movie, I think it was Falling Down with Doug Michaelis?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
And it was kind of a remarkable, like, theme in that movie. Like, the whole thing was this guy he was losing it. He had enough
Lost
with
his
society,
shit.
and I think it was like a burger joint that got his order wrong, and he snapped, and he started going around with a gun and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And back then, it was like, oh my God, what a nutty situation.
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise you
We have
at all today.
We have 1,000 Douglas Michaelists walking the earth, or this country right
Absolutely.
now.
Everybody's just one failed burger away from snapping.
But what is great, just like when we did the story at the grocery store, that, I don't know, what was she, a Congress, whatever she was.
Georgia Congresswoman.
It's like,
Oh, yeah.
the guy though, even the guy
Both of them
going to the
reacting like that.
manager, and it's like, I can't fathom. I got stuff I want to get to. Like, I'm at the Meijer, and it's like I'm buying things because it's like, oh, I'm buying food because I'm going to make food when I get home. Why do I want to now sit in a 10-minute discussion with the manager?
Yeah.
Because someone
Stir
had
some shit,
20
kick the nest.
right. Unless it's seriously affecting someone. Like, dude, that guy's, you know, pushing little kids in the hall or in the aisle or something, or I don't know. Like,
When I was in California, we went to Great America, which is a theme park out there, right?
Oh, we're familiar.
It's like
I need
Cedar
attention.
Point. I need attention. And one of the segments, I believe it's the Peanuts or Snoopy area, and it's for little fucking kids. They recognize, okay, if you've got a 3-year-old, can't go on the big roller coasters, so they have all these little wee rides, tiny little roller coaster, and then tilt-a-whirl,
merry-go-round,
and there are different levels for different little kids. And so my niece and nephew get on a NASCAR themed one, and it's just, you sit in the fucking car, it's on a track, and it just goes in a circle, and the kids go, wee, stupid. So they get off that. There's myriad toddlers between the ages of born yesterday and 5, all over in line. And I come around the corner, and I'm just kind of collecting the kids, and there's this mom, and or whatever she was. She's got probably a boyfriend or husband. There's kids of all various sizes, and she's reaming out what looks to be a 16-year-old employee. The ones that work the rides and just push the lever forward.
Especially on that ride, dude. That's the lower end. They don't have to know too much. Like, you know what I mean? It's not the roller coaster.
She's going, "You're a fucking bigot, man. You're a fucking bigot. I'm going to the top reporting this. You discriminating motherfucker." And I'm like, okay, you've got a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 7-year-old with you. I've got a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old with me, absolutely in earshot. There's tons of toddlers all around. And you've got the social graces of a total dipshit. You motherfucker, discriminating what? And it appeared...
Oh, man.
By the way, the fucking one that was discriminating, the bigot, was also Mexican. So I have a Mexican woman in a fucking screaming match with a horrified 16-year-old Mexican girl who's running... I'm like... The husband's like, "You can fix this, man. Let him on. Let him on." I'm like... Kid is fat. He appears probably too big for the ride. She's making a judgment call at some point, like, "No, Tubby, get the fuck out of here. You're too old, too big to be on this toddler ride." And they're not having it because she's a bigot. And motherfucker,
man,
I'm going to the top. You're done.
Going to the
You're
top.
Done. This starts recording. This is going on so I'm put this on YouTube, man. You're fucking over.
Putting this on YouTube.
It's all, everybody's been wronged, right?
Yes. And the fat kids just sit there like, "Oh man, my mom's an asshole again." And then the dad or whatever he was, if they're parents of these kids, they're young parents. And so the boy goes, "Man, you can fix this, man. Let him on, let him on." And she's like, "I didn't even say he couldn't go on." I don't know what the discrepancy was. He's like, "So you'll let him on?" She's like, "Yeah, whatever." She's, "Christopher, come here." She lets you on. Christopher's face lights up and he stands up. Mom goes, "Fuck that. Sit down. No, we're going to dress it." And the kid sits back down and starts, and immediately is like, "Fuck." And I'm like, dude, the kid's face lit up like a Christmas tree when he was getting to go on the ride. No, not good enough for mom. We got to swear 8 more times and disappoint your kid. It's like, that memory will be with that kid forever. Oh, the day mom called another Mexican girl a child, basically a motherfucking bigot.
I doubt that this is an extraordinary event in this child's life. He probably will forget it tomorrow.
Probably not. You're right, unfortunately. But I've got a series of stories here, and it reminds me of that, like, do we need a new lesson on how to behave in society? Like how to treat each other with a modicum of...
Be generally nice to everyone.
What was your saying? I thought it was really great.
Just be generally nice.
Don't be dicks, I believe.
Well, yeah, I mean, people say that all the time. But
yeah,
just be generally nice, man.
Yeah.
Just, hey.
If shit doesn't involve you, breeze by it.
Yeah.
We don't need... If someone steps on your shoe...
There's so much more to be happy about.
Yeah.
We're blessed people. We live in a great time.
That kid from Berkeley, that they're identifying now, 24 years old, ID'd as the victim in a fatal beating in Detroit, gets into a little fender bender. With someone and walks up to the guy to, exchange numbers, say, "I'm sorry," whatever, gets fucking jacked in the face, knocked the fuck out, and then stomped to death.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of these videos, too, where... it's not a sucker punch in that it didn't come from the side or the back or something straight on. But, oh, my God, this guy clearly was not able to react or thinking that was at all coming.
Yeah.
He was just laid out.
Yeah.
Just absolutely laid out.
Their name, the police, I don't think have identified him yet, but the family, his name's Tyler Wingate. Went to Berkeley High School. I mean, grew up in Berkeley, lived in Detroit, graduated in 2013. GoFundMe titled "Losing Tyler" if you want to donate. As of yesterday, They had $40,000 as their goal. They'd raised $38,000 already to pay for funeral and other expenses. The suspect has been identified in the attack, Lawrence Davis, 23 years old. He's being sought by police if you have any information about him. But yeah, it's just like, if you're Lawrence Davis, like, I don't understand how, does it not hit your head at all? Like, oh shit, this kid's dead now. I'm going to live the rest of my life in a fucking 6x9. Like, how does that not register with people when they get into these things that I can't wrap my head. Like, dude, you are a free man in the United States of America.
Well,
right now.
Yeah. I mean, if you're asking for his thought process, he didn't pull out a gun and shoot him. He hit him. So that you can't totally assume that he thought, all right, I'm going to hit him and this kid's going to die. I mean, you need to assume if you're going to lay somebody out with an unexpected punch that they could hit the ground and die.
Yeah,
we've seen that many times before.
What do they charge
on a parking block, whatever. Probably like a manslaughter.
Manslaughter.
You know? But yeah, I mean, it's just such a disrespect for fucking fellow human, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's described as a minor fender bender. We don't know if there was any words exchanged. We don't know what led up to this. We have a closed circuit video that's very short.
Yeah.
But it's disgusting, man.
Yeah. 3 other guys join in. You love seeing that. 3 other men, come in and got to get their kicks in. I was watching. It was some rapper's bodyguard. Some guy came up from behind and jacked him, knocked him knocked this big dude out instantly.
And turns to the camera, wants full credit.
Yeah,
woo!
Look at me. Fuck that dude. It's like, yeah, nice job, tough guy. Walk up behind a guy and blast him square and knock him out. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's like, oh, I punched him and knocked him out, and now I'm out of here. But, like, dude, your car's there. You left your car there. There's fingerprints all over that. Like, you're not going to get away with this.
Absolute fools.
You're not going to get away with it, and now you're going to go to fucking jail for a long-ass time. It just doesn't make sense, And then you got did you see the Georgia woman getting into the fight, holding her baby?
Oh, yeah. Drops the baby. Killed it. 3-month-old baby.
Yeah. I got a different, looking at, if your mom is capable of holding a newborn infant in a hand and getting in fisticuffs, like, it's probably best. You know what I mean? It's probably worked out for the
Happens
best.
sooner than later.
Yeah, this kid would. Let's be honest. This was not going to go well for this child.
Yeah, that was really troubling to watch. This woman holding this infant.
Is that a little weird though? They're charging her with felony murder for dropping that kid. I mean, isn't intent?
Yeah.
Involved? Like, I don't think she walked out to I'm going to kill my baby now.
But if it's like a child endangerment that like raises it up to that, I don't know.
So she's and so it's Karen Harrison, 26 years old, swinging at the other woman in a parking lot as she's holding her son. The other woman, the video I saw, she took the first swing with that shopping bag. Do you have the video, E? She's got the shopping bag.
Ah, man.
There's no music.
I can't see the baby. I don't know when she drops it. Remember when Prince was playing and he threw his guitar up in the air and we're like, where did the guitar go?
Yes.
It vanished.
While My Guitar Gently Weeps.
Yes.
On stage with Petty and Jeff Lynne.
And
celebrating George Harrison.
Yes.
Right?
It was the tribute.
Yeah.
And we're like, where did that guitar end up? He threw it up in the sky. I never see the kid. I don't know where it's dropped, but then someone comes in and swoops the kid up. And
Oh, I thought I distinctly saw it.
Really?
Yeah, let's...
Go ahead, E.
There's no sound to this.
Okay.
In fact, there's some stupid music underneath it, kind of. So
they're fighting. So they're arguing.
So you don't see her drop the kid, is what you're saying?
I didn't think so.
I think the kid's down already, right?
Yeah, they're like pushing.
Yeah, there.
Go grab the kid. So.
Oh my God.
Don't.
So grim.
They're not bringing charges against the woman that swung the bag. Why?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd love to know more. I'd love to get talk to someone who deals in this kind of law, but I can't imagine a jury.
Need to know the facts, right? Like what happened, what's going on here. We see just a piece of it.
Yeah. It's kind of like that. Remember people were all up in arms with the girl that was shot in the stomach while like 8 months pregnant. Her baby died and they charged her with felony murder because they said she's got an obligation to protect the child even before birth. That includes that period. It's like, wait a minute, isn't it not?
I don't remember that case at all.
Yeah, it was recent, very recent. It hasn't even gone to court yet. But the people were like, this is bullshit, targeting minorities. And it's like, it's another black woman, inner city, poor, pregnant, gets into a fucking fight, throws a punch at someone, that person pulls a gun and shoots her in the stomach, killing the baby. And they're like, you fucking started the fight, you're 8 months pregnant, you have a duty to protect that life.
Wow, I don't remember that case at all.
Really? Yeah, it's recent. It's going on now. Yep. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out, though, with the baby in this one dropping.
So sad, God.
Yeah. And then the video of the girl in Chicago. Can you help me find a red line train? And the group of fucking girls, inner city girls, start wailing on her.
Yeah, special needs girl.
Well,
What?
they said special needs, mental difficulties. How do they say it? She's got special needs. And I was like, oh, okay. She developed a mental disability after the death of her mom. So that's her. I don't know what that means. I've never.
Yeah, I don't know.
Does that seem weird? Like when you hear special needs, don't
Yeah,
you think
think of like from birth, right?
right? That's like naturally what you think. And it's like, wait a minute. Okay, well. Anyway, do you have video of that? These animals. And now the good thing is they're being shamed. People are showing this video and identifying these girls.
Just walking in a group. How do you do that?
I don't know, Jay.
How do you just turn on somebody and wail them? Man,
poor
it's just,
thing. It's just sickening. It's just sickening. Well, I saw the tweet that went out, or the Facebook post from her friend who posted this and is like, look, my friend is being abused here. She's, a little bit special. And, please help any way you can. Get this video out there so people see and pray for or whatever. And I was like, oh, shit, that thing went quick. And people were not happy. And one of the people that saw it was Officer Anthony Guglemley or something is his name, Chief Communications Officer for the Chicago Police.
Googs.
Yep, Googs is on it. So he said that Special Victims Unit was investigating the video. This is beyond disturbing to watch. This young girl deserves far better. And so they've been receiving threats now from the video going viral, the girls, and so they're apologizing now for beating on Harris. Not a ton of sympathy out of me. Sorry, bro. You're not going to get it.
What does that apology say, I wonder? Like, you know what I mean? What's in that?
I said sorry, yo.
Yeah, okay.
Who knows? Yeah, they're putting their what is doxing? Putting their shit on social media.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I hope there's a turn at some point because I just don't remember this being in society when we were younger. Maybe there was an aspect of it in places, but dude, I distinctly remember like, yo, man, he's had enough, or the fight happens and you'd sooner see 10 guys jump in to break it up than you would jump in to pile and stomp on someone. You just wouldn't see that.
You just can't underestimate the presence of video, though, and the ability to video it and show it to your friends and get likes that way and get your friends hooting and hollering. It's just a different world.
It is.
Hey, man, insurance, we all need it. Most of us don't know what kind of coverage we have or who provides it. Let fellow TDC listener Brent Wasik from Wasik Insurance Services change all that. Brent has over 30 years in the business. He travels to Iceland, as mentioned, and he offers all types of insurance coverage: auto, home, health, life, business, commercial, and more. Call Brent Wasik at 734-455-1900. Get a free, no-obligation quote today. Again, that's 734-455-1900.
That backpackers, the murdered backpackers in Canada.
Yeah.
What an awful story. And we talked about it a little bit yesterday, and we're like, yeah, there's 2 missing kids too. They were looking to find. Hopefully they're not victims.
Yeah.
As soon as we ended the show, they were like, yeah, they're now suspects. So weird details too. Both 6'4", 169 pounds.
Huh.
Isn't that weird?
Twins? What?
No, not at all. They've known each other
friends.
forever. And Troy was like, man, that's like my height minus 70 pounds. Like, imagine Troy minus 70 pounds. Wouldn't he look weird? Isn't that a weird fucking...
Yeah.
Think of Troy shaved 70 pounds off him.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, don't do that. Don't lose 70 pounds. So authorities investigating the murders of this. That was the American tourist. I'm not going to get into how stupid her name is and her brother's name because it's China. And her brother, I can't remember what her brother's name is, but it's like
Equally stupid.
Yeah, parents were cute. And the Australian boyfriend So they're Lucas Fowler is from Sydney, Australia, and
He had
China.
cool hair, man.
Yeah, he did.
Looked like a backpacker.
It's so hard to watch a video when you know the end of the movie. You know, when you see that video of them at the gas station and she's washing the windows on the truck and
They're about to meet their untimely demise.
Troy's first thought is, man, I should have spent a little time under the hood looking at filling the oil or something, because the car broke down shortly thereafter, and clean windows didn't mean anything.
Yeah.
But boy, oh boy, an oil change might have gone a long way. But anyway, she's from North Carolina, found dead July 15th when their van broke down. So they're searching for Canadians. Cam McLeod, 19. Nice job, dipshit. Brian Schmegelski. Oh, Schmegs. Schmegelski? Fuck, that's a tough name. They're suspects in this. The two were reported missing Friday. The one's dad. So we got Sergeant Janelle Sohat, and she's the one probably that was given the press conference, and they left the cat filter on,
Yeah,
which
that's
is
awesome.
the funniest fucking picture to me. It's adorable, Canada. I'm sorry. Our beautiful neighbors to the north, but her with her little whiskers and a nose doing a double homicide press conference update. Think about that for a second. She's got the pointy ears. It's just, oh, look at that.
I know. Little pink nose.
Does she get to wear those pants that bow out at the hips too?
She's a cute.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have to move the podium. I don't know.
Can you imagine? Like, you can't get, can you get worse than that?
The cat. I,
mean,
don't know. What are some of the other
I was going
filters?
to say, are you saying worse?
The
as
dog
in-
one with the tongue sticking
Yeah,
out?
the dog one would be worse because every time she talked, the tongue would have came out and stuff. So,
I mean,
there's ones where leaves are falling down. So I mean, it just
Yeah,
it just
some of those
depends on-
filters are crazy.
This actually might be okay because it's just kind of a standard. It just stays on her face. But like if there was things where like fire was going around in the background, or like I said, or like leaves, or it turned her into a
every time
dragon lady.
every time she blinks, their fucking rainbows shoot out of her eyes.
Yeah.
That stuff.
So it could have been worse.
Wasn't there that Asian one that they got busted for? They had to remove that because people were doing that.
I don't know.
Turned you into like an Asian.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're right. I don't remember it, but
Those are pretty cool, by the way. Those
Oh,
are,
yeah.
do
Now,
you
is
still do
that Instagram or?
Is that Snapchat?
It's Snapchat's the biggest one, but honestly, Facebook and stuff does it now. a
Facebook
lot.
does?
Oh yeah, look at that. Well, that's what that was on Facebook Live.
Oh, yeah. Shit, I didn't even know they did that.
Like I turned myself into this the other day.
Ah,
Let me see.
chick. You're like a
Oh, my
a
God.
queen or something.
Marilyn
A
Manson?
fairy? What are
Dark
you?
Lord.
I don't know. It's just whatever. I just thought it was stupid.
Very
so I did it.
androgynous and odd.
Is that the one that's turning you into a woman if you want and stuff like that?
That one's still on there, man. The woman one has held on pretty long because I've done that with me for sure.
Yeah.
The old man one certainly made a mark.
For a day.
Yeah,
It's
but
kind of
everybody did it.
Yeah.
But that was just a
Couldn't
Russian
help.
hack, so they could all get our facial recognition.
Yeah.
so.
That's it.
Totally. We do believe they're on the move. We're asking all of Canada and all the world to assist in locating Cam McLeod and Brian. They believe they may be targeting isolated areas. They were last spotted in like Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and so these desolate areas. They may be thinking, oh, there's not going to be much TV coverage up here. The dad for one of them. Let's see, what was his?
I've said that before. Canada seems like people always say going to Mexico. You know what I mean? Because it's like, oh, I'm going to Mexico now. But man, Canada, you get not that far up, dude. What is it? Like 90% of the population lives on the border. Get like a fucking 150, 200 miles up there, dude.
Yeah, but if they find you, they'll turn your ass back over immediately. Mexico, you got a
will they?
shot.
Okay.
Mexico, my God, they ain't gonna waste.
But I don't think they're going to
resources.
find you. I think you're going to be good.
So Brian Schmegelski's dad, Al, told CBC, "Yeah, they're good boys on a venture. They're just on a venture."
Al Shamelski.
Yeah,
That's great.
Schmegelski.
Oh, that's great. Can you see him bowling?
Oh,
You know, sweet
course.
bowling shirt.
Al Schmeg. Yeah, he's got Al on his name tag.
It's great.
They're good boys on a venture. Before they were named as suspects, he thought they were just good boys on a venture.
And these two were killed in British Columbia. You said?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah. My son, he's like, they're huge into video games. 2 Christmases ago, he says he's revealed that Paris spent the past 2 years, yeah, they're training in war in the woods.
Oh my God!
Dad,
Stop.
Al.
Go bowl.
Yeah, no, honey, no. Hold on. Remember, they're training in war in the woods.
Yeah, they're not killing anybody.
No, they're good boys on a venture. They're just training in war.
Oh man.
He's huge into video games.
First-person shooter.
Yeah, 2 Christmases ago, he asked me for an airsoft gun, which is a replica gun, right? So he's telling me, well, me and the fellas, we like to go in the woods and play war. Yeah, so knowing that both of them are totally into that, if there was any threat, they would have done what they've actually trained themselves to do and would have camouflaged themselves in the woods. Shut up, Al. Thanks, Dad. He doesn't believe they're responsible for the killings. Cam and Briar probably in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's probably what it was. You know, and they fled for their own safety.
Maybe.
Sure, Al. Sure. If that helps you sleep at night, yeah. They probably... Yeah, they're in the wrong place. They were out there training for war in the woods, and then they were in the wrong place. They stopped communicating with their families several days ago. The cops are saying, yeah, if you see him, do not approach. Take no action. Immediately call 911. And, yeah, I don't know, man. They can't get too far. You know what I mean?
They're too tall. They'll be caught. They're too tall and thin.
Yeah, I know. They're fucking weird looking, too.
Are they?
Yeah. I don't know if you saw any pictures of them, but they're just...
Gangly?
Homos or something? They might be homo-y.
Is this somebody else?
No, not them.
Okay.
Talking about the suspects.
Oh, okay, shit.
So, yeah, Schmelsky's kid. So if you can look it up real quick, see what you think, Jay. But I'm almost positive Cam McLeod and Brian Schmegelsky. It's in the story there. Find it when you can. But I was like, while you do that, E, can you concentrate on that and not make a fucking sound for the next 4 seconds? Because I have to run a commercial from one of our fine sponsors. Ready? In 3, 2, 1.
He's doing better.
He's getting
Doing
way
It's
better.
only because I had something to focus on.
Yeah, it was.
You gave me a
Yeah.
task.
Yeah. I'm focused on a computer.
Okay, so is that...
These two, huh?
Is that the two of them?
I typed in Cam McLeod and... Oh, yeah, and that's it.
So
the
that's
other one.
both of them. Is that one transitioning on the left? Doesn't that look mid-transition almost?
Both have sort of a elfy look to them. Right?
Yeah. Dude, 6'4".
Yeah.
I don't... Yeah. Look at these two gomers.
Yeah, that one on the right now was on the left before. Some soft features.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a
Throw
bottom
wig,
for
throw
sure.
a wig on him, and he'd look
Oh,
like a
yeah.
chick.
Lipstick and a wig, right?
Yeah.
That's all it would take. And then Cam would just be fucking deep dicking it, you know? Getting in there good.
Dude, I've been watching...
Throwing his schmeg all over Schmegelski.
I've been watching a lot of crime stuff lately for whatever reason. It's just kind of gotten interesting to me. And when I see like this image right here that I see, like, you know, with her and the public alert and their pictures, I just start to think like, oh my God, 1, if you did it, or 2, if you didn't do it, what it must be like in your world. All of a sudden, like, you kind of think if you did it, we're smart, man. We got, you know, we didn't do, no one, we were way out there. No one knows shit.
But to know
and
you've
like
been
all of a sudden,
ID'd.
like, yeah,
Oh,
like
man.
you did it, and then like maybe you go to a hotel, you think that no one knows shit. And then later, and then all of a sudden on the TV, you see something, and you're like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
Like, what that would feel like.
Have to
And if you-
immediately separate.
And
Oh,
if you
yeah.
didn't do it, that's the other thing. Like to me, like,
Well, you
both of
know,
those are crazy.
when you riddle someone with bullets and then light the vehicle on fire that you were like, you want to destroy evidence. You think you've got it figured out. You've committed the crime. Now you know what to do. You've been practicing war in the woods. This is the day. It's game day. You know, you're pulling it off. And then it's like, no, you didn't get a day ahead of this, dude. They're already, now your face is planted. It's like, what did we do wrong?
And the other thing, dude, I'll say this isn't quite as about that, but the one thing I've been watching is confession tapes, and I'm not going to say
Yeah, I've watched some of those.
I'm not going to say whether the people are guilty or innocent, you know what I mean? Because it's a documentary, and I think it's clearly probably trying to show people, like, look at the police can do this to you. But having said that, whether you did it, and especially if you think you didn't, it blows my mind that people would go into interrogation without asking for a lawyer.
Yeah,
I don't understand it.
offered
They're in
it,
there
and
for
just like,
7
no, I don't need one.
7 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours. I'm like, dude, the first thing I'd be like, whether I did, I think people have this thought.
They have this thought, like, if I say no, then I'll look innocent.
guilty.
Yeah.
No, if I say no to a lawyer,
yeah,
I'll look
look
innocent.
innocent.
No, I'm fine talking to you. Yeah, no, go ahead.
You
Trained
look at
professional, go ahead.
I don't give a fuck,
Question me.
dude. If a cop pulls me, if like, you know, I get pulled out for something, you know what I mean? And they're like, oh, we think that you did this thing. I don't give a fuck, dude. I'm calling in a lawyer ASAP,
Yeah.
dude. I'm
Yeah.
not talking to the fucking cops.
The one they did, the movie Netflix did on the what was
Making
it?
murder.
Not Making a Murder, but the New York, the 5 kids that were
Oh, yeah.
accused
We
of
See
murder. The one that Trump catches shit for because he was like the
Oh, the Central Park 5.
Central
Yeah,
Park
yeah.
5. Yeah, I watched that, and you know they cops rounded these kids up that are 13, 14, 15, dragged them in, and, no parents, no lawyers, no nothing, and just got confessions of just horse shit out of these kids. Spun them. Oh, yeah, the kid's in the other room. He's fucking fingering you, dude. You're the one.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
I didn't do that. And it's like, one kid's mom was like, where's my son? And like went into the police and they're like, oh, he's talking to investigators. She's like, fuck you, motherfucker. He is underage. Bullshit. Went storming back there and got this kid. They're like, oh, man, get out of here. Blah, blah, blah. She's like, fuck you. I'm his mom. You didn't ask permission. You ain't talking to my son. And they're like, she's like, are we free to go now? Yeah, I suppose. She's like, come on. Dragged him out of there, and that kid's done. He doesn't go to jail. Like the other kids, these parents seeing the desperation of these parents going in like, fuck, you did what? It's
You
just
said what?
It's awful, dude. It's awful.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the one guy made a point that I never thought before, where he's like, and again, I'm not saying whether these people, I don't know. It's a show,
Sure.
kind of, but like he just says like, and I thought about this recently because I told Jay actually when you were gone, I recently got fucking late night, being a fucking just whatever. I got caught, speeding out of, you know what
Jesus.
I mean? I know, dude. But
Speeding ticket?
got let off with a warning, but
Okay.
used my privilege card properly.
Absolutely.
But,
Did you demand a lawyer?
No, but
I don't need to roll down my window for you. I want a supervisor.
I want a supervisor.
Just crack your window barely.
Right. But what I told Jay is like, it's funny, like I don't have any points on my record. I don't have a record. I don't have any drugs in my car. But you get that light, and it is like, woo-hoo, and you're like, I start thinking like, oh my God, I'm fucked. And I don't even know what I'm fucked for. But my point is, the guy was saying this sometimes. So like, when you get these guys in there, it's not a lawyer. You know what I mean? There is this thought where they're just yelling at you. They're just saying, "We've got it, man. We've got this freaking thing on the line. Your hair's been, it's matched up. So you better just say you fucking did it."
Especially when they have others that they can play against you, like you mentioned.
Oh,
When
yeah.
your buddy just rolled on you, you're like, "Fuck you, he did." Well,
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm gonna roll on him. You're thinking,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. He's saying that. I mean, the other guy's saying he saw it differently. He saw actually him do it, and he said you saw him do it as well. You want to
Wow.
back
We
that
can
up?
make this less
Otherwise,
for you. We can make this less for you. You know
What
what I mean?
a
If you don't
mindfuck.
lie, if you don't
and think about that.
Stop
at
lying to me.
13,
Yeah,
14,
yeah.
15. Like, you're so outmatched. You're so outgunned. Adults are authority. Guy's got a dope mustache, a gun on his hip. He's dressed right, and he's fucking laying it down adult style. Like, dude, those dress downs, fuck, at that age, it'd be hard for us, to sit there and be calm and just be like, lawyer now. You'd want to, especially if you thought you could get it, you had it out, it's like, no, man, let me just explain myself. This is all going to make sense in a minute.
Right.
I'll be walking out of here in no time.
Dude, hold on, I got to take this. Yeah, dude, I'll still meet you for dinner at 6, bro. Hold on, give me a minute. And then, figure you're going to 5 minutes, your story's going to make sense. And they go, well, that's all I needed.
It was
On your way home to watch WrestleMania.
Hell yeah.
Right.
No, hold on, son. We're not quite done yet. You said a second ago you tied your shoes this morning. Which shoe did you tie first? What? And then you wrapped up in God knows what mess.
It was. This is the last I'll say, but I will say the one I was watching last night was funny. Like, I actually think the girls didn't seem that credible in the end. I kind of went on where I thought that they got it right. But the guy, I think the prosecutor seemed like he really enjoyed being in the spotlight. Like even throughout the documentary, I just felt like he he liked that position or whatever. And his quotes, like right at the end, is it 12 or 14 at a jury? I honestly forget if it was
12.
12. He goes, his quote to like the press, he just goes, well, 12 people of her peers looked at her in the face and said she was guilty, and I think that says it all. I'm like, so did people say. O.J. Simpson was told he was not guilty or whatever, dude. That
No, he
doesn't
was
mean.
not told he was not guilty.
Well, whatever. Innocent.
He was found innocent.
Speaking of OJ, have you guys listened to Confronting OJ Simpson, the Kim Goldman podcast?
No.
Fiorini suggested, we talked about it in
Oh, yeah, we
relation to
definitely
OJ
did.
being on Twitter and all that.
Yes.
Fiorini said, dude, take a listen. You'll like this. And I've been listening. It's really good.
Really?
Yes. She does a really good job.
Is she breaking down the case and
Well, but they do it in an interesting way in that she confronts a lot of people who you've never heard from before. Some of the jurors, where she sits down and talks to them. She talks to the guy who heard the plaintive wail, who, by the way, remember, he heard the Akita barking.
Yeah.
The Akita was probably the first one to come upon the murder scene.
gross?
But he also was the ghostwriter for If I Did It. That guy, that
No way.
witness, yes.
What do you mean he was the
Pablo
ghost-
He's the ghostwriter for OJ's book, If I Did It. strangely enough.
Really?
Yeah. And so she interviews this dude. She just interviews a lot of people, and the way it's kind of pasted together, not totally chronological, but it's in an interesting way. It's really well produced.
No kidding. Yeah, the interesting thing about that is there were so many people, witnesses, like that got thrown out of that they didn't put on the stand because they gave an interview to the Inquirer or they took money from one of the tabloids.
She interviews that chick.
And there's probably 100 of them out there that have just a little piece of the puzzle. The woman that saw Juice driving away.
Same lady, the one that
is that the one
that got paid by the hard copy or whatever.
Was it one of those? But it's like she saw the fucking Bronco with OJ in it driving from the scene, and it was. And
so you hear Marcia Clark's explanation that she found her totally incredible. She interviewed her, and then she said, "Do not talk to anybody. Don't sell your thing." She found out she sold her story to hard copy.
Yep.
Marcia Clark said there were all sorts of other lawsuits out there that suggested she was being fraudulent with people, and she was like, "Bad witness. We can't put her on." Whereas other people, and talking it through, it's like, no, you should have. Yeah, that's important evidence. What you do is you. It's
an eyewitness.
Well, yeah, and every witness has problems, and you just do what you can to get through that. You acknowledge the problem up front, and then you let the defense have their take, but you let the jury hear it.
Yeah.
So there's just all these holes in the case that they left holes because they were too worried about minuscule type things. Moreover, what the state kept saying over and over, and I think how they sleep at night is they say, look, we were really pressured into doing this quicker than we wanted to because Juice didn't waive his
right to trial.
Yeah. And so they quickly had to put together their case. They're getting back scientific information in the middle of the trial.
Yeah.
And they're having to go on the fly. Whereas if they would have had a year to kind of let things settle and then put the puzzle together and really focus it down, it would have been a lot more effective.
And you got to remember, this is the birth of DNA evidence, and so it's not just like getting the shit back from the labs and everybody kind of understands
out how to present it to people who have never heard of it, right?
Because was it 1 in 8 billion that it wasn't that it was someone other than OJ?
The only explanation
on the planet.
Only explanation is that it was planted, and that's what the defense did.
Yeah, and you needed to get experts. You had to interview experts who could break down what the fucking science means because nobody knew or heard of anything. So you can imagine how much labor would go into that gig. Plus, there was just so much pressure in the public to get it going, and it was
Well, the move to LA County too, and taking it out of Brentwood or whatever, Brentwood, right?
Brentwood, yep.
Take it out of there, and you move it to a totally different jury pool.
Yeah.
And,
so did they drop a whole season, or is she doing one a week?
It's one a week, yeah.
How long are they?
I want to say they're like 45 minutes. Probably 8 or 9 of them have dropped so far.
Okay.
It's really
that's
good.
a lot. Yeah, I'll listen to that today. Definitely. That's interesting as shit. I started watching a documentary. Isis was telling me, well, we had a story the other day that mentioned, and I had in my notes to pull up the trailer for this Bob Lazar movie. He was supposedly some guy that worked at Area 51 for the government and knew of.
Well, he didn't work. I don't think he worked at Area 51.
He worked at Area
there was like
B4 or something, S4, whatever it was, another building right there by Area 51. He's the guy that originally came out and went, "Hey, look, man, this is it's an injustice to the American public to not speak out about this. There's like 9 craft that some of them are working, fully functioning that we have." In this place, gave this interview, and it blew up.
I heard this dude on Rogan about a month ago.
Did you really?
Yeah, and
did you believe him?
He kept having these bouts of headaches during the interview, and when he was asked certain questions, he'd go silent, and he just, "I'm sorry, this is such bad timing for a migraine," and Rogan would be like, "Take your time, I mean, hey, whatever you got to do to decompress. You want a drink? What do you know?"
Oh my God,
it really was,
dude.
Yeah, it kind of came off as goofy.
It sucks because he's like, well, in the end, it comes down to whether or not you believe the guy's story or you don't. And he's to the point where he's like, I don't give a shit, man. Whatever. This is how it happened. I worked here, did this. Believe me or don't. Fuck off. I don't care. And he's been hassled by the feds forever. And. But I'm watching the documentary. I'm like, T, you want to, watch this thing? He's like, yeah, whatever. And so we're sitting there, and it starts, and it's fucking slow as shit, and their intros flashy, and then they got Mickey Rourke doing it with his stupid voice.
Yeah, that was annoying.
You know what? Can you fuckers? This is the problem you people have. You always got to be weirdos. This is a documentary. Sit the fucker down. No pomp and circumstance. Tell your goddamn story. Cheek gets up, he goes, man, we're 30 minutes into this motherfucker, and I haven't learned shit yet.
Yeah.
You know, it's build up and soft
Yeah.
music and diagrams floating. You're like, dude, what are you doing? This is not a fucking time to show off the fancy tricks your editing machine does.
You know how many people would have to remain silent with great
that's
incentive
the
to come
thing, though.
forward and make money off it
That-
for this to have been a true conspiracy?
The hit Bob Lazar working there and
Yeah,
the,
just the idea of the government holding 9 spacecraft. I mean, come
Well,
on.
the thought is that the leaks get out all the time, and they've just been debunked.
They're
they're
just
made
not
fun
believed.
of. That
They're made
they're
fun of.
hiding something that's massive, essentially in plain sight. Is what the thought.
The most
is.
convincing evidence to me that there are not UFOs is the fact that Trump recently responded and he said that he doesn't particularly believe it. Right? I mean, if there was
I didn't
ever
hear
a
that.
dude who would, he was asked about, the Navy
huge,
pilot.
amazing.
If there was ever a dude who would drop a hint that he knows like something, it
Yeah.
would be him. And for him, like I've heard, I've been briefed on it. I don't particularly believe it. It's like, dude, he would definitely tip his hand on that.
See, that the thought though is from a lot of people that just because you're the president does not necessarily give you the keys to everything. That there are programs behind the scenes. It's like, no, dipshit, you'll be out of here in 8 years, or 4 years, or 8 years, and you don't get to get behind these scenes. And whether you believe
Especially
that or
a
not,
dude like that, right? Where they'd be
Oh my
like,
God,
you
they would
imagine?
just lie to him.
fucking
They would just
telling
give him
Donald Trump.
They would just give him another folder and
Yeah.
go, "Yep, this is it, dude.
yeah, here you go.
This is what we know."
They just give him a copy of the Sully and
X-Files or
X-Files.
something
Like,
and be
dude,
like,
here you go. It's all there.
This
It's
is
all
what
in
we
there
know.
for you. It's all there. But yeah, it's like I don't know what to believe. I was watching that one, and it fucking it sucks every time I think about that show, because you were like, oh, it's got the guy from Blink 182 associated with it.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's not fair, to just write it off because it's got a fucking rock dude in there that's like,
Yeah.
oh man.
No, he's a squatcher too. Don't forget, he's investigating Sasquatch.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Yeah. These guys tend not to just stop at one,
No.
like and drill in.
Is
They
Nessie next?
Yeah, they got a whole thing. But there's some really interesting people involved in that, and I'm sorry, I keep going back to when you've got Navy pilots, career guys that have never spoken out and are going on the record going, dude, I don't know what,
Yeah.
but
Well, this
what
is
we're seeing.
again Trump, who is not going to be able to
Yeah.
hold his cards back, right? He was asked by George Stephanopoulos. So recently, when George was in the Oval Office, remember that interview? He was,
George, what was he trying to get him to fucking release top secret information? George is like,
Why not, dude?
yeah,
it's
isn't that
Trump.
the first thing you'd ask Trump?
oh fuck
You ever-
yes, dude.
peppering him with
Oh,
stuff,
oh my
right?
god.
Well, what he should have done is said, like, you don't know. You don't. He should
yeah,
have
yeah.
followed up with
Dare
stuff
him.
like,
Yeah, dare
oh,
him.
sure.
Oh, as if they tell you.
Right,
You don't
right,
know
right.
shit. Oh yeah.
You're not even respected as a.
You have no idea.
You have no idea the level of stuff I know
No, he
about
was- he-
about the
I don't believe you do. I
spacecrafts.
don't believe you do. And then he would just be like,
Prove it.
fine,
Prove
fine.
it.
And he'd walk off somewhere and like.
Give me my phone.
President Donald Trump said he'd been briefed on Navy pilots reporting increased sightings of unidentified flying objects. Stephanopoulos asked him about it. He says, I want them to think whatever they think. I did have one very brief meeting on it, but people are saying they're seeing UFOs. Do I believe it? Not particularly.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything for me because I think what Mike
he
says.
can't say. So he's probably just like, their stories are incredible to me. Whatever. But part of that documentary, they were like, they're showing, and it's hard because it's almost the evidence looks like that evidence we saw of here's the flag on the moon.
Yeah.
You got this like weird,
Right,
fucking
right.
hardly visible square. Like there it is. It's like, well,
It's like, I think I see the moon.
Sure, that's right there. Duh. And so, when you're looking at not sonar, but the jets recording, what do they call that? But they're picking up something in their sight, and it's like, what the fuck is that? Well, it just looks like a blur.
tic-tac, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a tic tac. And they're on it. It's locked. It's recording. It's like, what is that? That shouldn't be able to fly. And then whoop, it's like, that would kill a human being.
Yeah.
Not meant to. There's no propulsion system. There's no plume of smoke when these things move. And they're all reporting the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've got video of these things like, okay, there's a lot of dots there. That's a lot of tic tacs. And they all go to the same spot down by Baja, California, into Mexico, and then into this fucking like cave thing and disappear. And so they're like, these things are landing somewhere in there and going somewhere. And so, I don't know, it's fascinating, but
Remember when Fox was into that whole like extreme things, always like animals attacking animals.
Hell yeah.
And then they had the one that was the alien like autopsy was going to
Oh,
be
yeah.
revealed on Fox.
Hell yeah.
And like Sunday night or something. And it was
Alien
like a Korean-
autopsy.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, and I believe it. I 100% not that, but I believe, like, I actually believe this Bob Lazar guy. But like when you think of that, it's like fucking as if Fox, National Fox at the time, which wasn't even a big station, like
What were they trying to pull off? Because it was like a stupid. Wasn't it, a total flop?
Yeah.
I think they were
it was-
just they were depicting, their explanation was, well, we're just obviously this is a doll, but we're depicting an autopsy
see,
that
I
was
remember
explained to us by whatever.
I
is
guess
that
I
what they
thought at the time that it was like
by
this
a
was
Bob
real.
Lazar type guy.
Yeah,
Bob
yeah.
Lazar told us this happened, and here's how it would have looked.
Well, Bob Lazar was, what was his job? He was like reverse engineering the stuff. So they're like, they bring him in to this, and he's like, nobody gets the full thing. Like
Yeah,
everybody's got
working on their piece.
their piece, and that's
Said
all
there was this weird like gravitometer or something that he worked on with a buddy, like
Yeah, that is one of his big things he talks about.
Yeah, this guy in the lab who had been there, and he didn't know how long the guy he didn't know. Like he just
Yeah.
like, well, what was this guy? Well, I can't tell you. His name was Ron. How
Yeah.
long had Ron been there? I don't know.
Yeah.
Did you ever ask him? No, I never asked him. Well, he was working on this gravitometer, and this thing just reacted to things in non-physical ways that could ever,
Yeah.
happen in our physical Earth.
Yeah, technologies that we are completely unaware of, blah blah blah. And what did they? That was because I haven't watched the whole thing. I got interrupted last night, and so I've got a bunch more to go. But I was just irritated as shit at all the
I know.
stupid
It was a little
stuff. It's
annoying.
like, come on,
I think
man.
the guy who made it too really enjoyed showing himself
On camera.
like, talking to the phone. There's this guy with a beard, like he's got a hipster beard and
Yeah.
hair, and I think
Tats.
he definitely enjoyed himself. Like any chance he could get, he'd show himself talking to Bob. But
So
like,
doesn't that
on the-
say everything you need
No,
to know?
not
Like,
at
how do
all.
you watch
Well,
the rest of
Not
that?
at all. I mean, it doesn't.
I'm
I just
interested.
hear the guy,
I
you know.
want to see him tell his story.
Listen to Rogan. He talks
Yeah.
for hours to Rogan.
Okay, I didn't know that, but I was interested in hearing what he had to say. I'll listen. He's not a moron, but when he's like, yeah, he worked there, and basically it comes down, do you believe he worked inside this restricted top secret government, UFO shit? Or if you don't believe, because they're going, no, we don't know who this guy is. We never heard of him, and which you would expect if guys blabbing about shit that actually happened, you would expect them to deny his existence.
Yeah.
But I would think, like, if I went, yeah, dude, I worked at Riff for like 17 years, and you went, bullshit. I could go upstairs and grab, I don't know, a fucking
know.
entrance card, a
Yeah,
pay
but I
stub.
told you that, dude. Do you
There's
think they're going to let him
you could
walk
grab
away with this
some-
work badge, dude? I, mean,
I don't know.
They,
You'd think in
they're-
years of
you
working
leave,
somewhere.
You leave a job, dude. You leave something that's that top secret, dude. And I feel like you get patted down every fucking day, man. You're not.
Yeah, maybe.
And I would say that about non-alien
stuff.
stuff too. I would say
Right.
that about stuff that dude. They don't
Yeah,
let them
any
just,
secret stuff.
like they can't
probably.
just go to the bar and be like, "Yep, see, Area 51, see, that's my charge."
Yeah, but you'd think there'd be something.
Well, that's my thing.
You
Is
know?
you'd think there'd be someone else to corroborate, where he'd go, oh, all right, Bob Lazar's out. You know what? I'm going to come out too, and I'm going to corroborate
Yeah.
his story, and together we're going to convince people.
But if you think about the guys that they're hiring, these are top, nuclear physicist dude, and guys that are really smart, really dedicated to their country, and you're shook the fuck down, man. They interview the hell out of you about what you're doing and why it's so important, like cracking those guys. And when you do hear stories of guys that have come out and said, yeah, this is going on, the reports are that those guys' lives are seriously threatened. Like Bob Lazar's like, yeah, I wish I didn't say anything, man. It fucked my whole world, and you can imagine how
Oh,
bad
yes,
that would
these-
suck.
These migraines that are just awful.
Yeah, and that's government did that.
Yeah.
Just ask Blink 182. They're going to investigate that next. So I don't know.
Yeah, see what you think. Watch or listen to Rogan's
yeah,
interview with him. And
I'm interested in the Rogan one, I bet, because Rogan's not a douche like the fucking filmmaker. What he's talking about, he's sitting there at his desk, with his shirtless sleeve tats, and he's holding his phone like this on speaker, and there's a table cam over here just shooting him.
yeah, that's enough for me. I don't need to watch. You know what I mean?
know,
I'd
yeah.
be so delete.
I know. I was trying to give him a chance, but then it's on the other end. They've got cameras set up at the other guy's house, not Bob Lazar's. He's got the guy that did the first interview with Bob Lazar in Arizona. And so he's a news anchorman, right? And they're showing the coverage of him back in 1981, whatever it was. And he's got his beard. He thinks he's hot shit on the local Arizona news. And he's like, when they first put him on camera, he's like, good morning, Arizona, coming to you from the sunshine state of the blah, blah. It does this whole fucking rambly, stupid introduction like you would have done it back in the glory days when I was on TV. Now, Emmy-nominated, Emmy award-winning, like, I don't care, dude. You just... And the audio sounds like shit because they're filming in this guy's house inside his indoor pool room. So there's a grand echo through the whole thing. And it's like, really, dude?
He wanted everybody to know he had an indoor pool.
Exactly. It's like an echo throughout the entire conversation.
He wanted everyone to know that so desperately that he sacrificed the audio of his entire documentary.
Sitting there with it in the background, the windows, and it's like, oh,
What an
this
ass.
indoor pool douche.
Hey, everybody, you're no longer at your previous employer. Should your 401k still be there? What are your options? Leave the money with that plan, roll over the assets to a new employer's plan, roll over to an IRA, or cash out the account value. Call Mark Leibovitz at LPL Financial for a complimentary consultation to see if an IRA rollover may be the right decision for you. Call 248-626-2000. Ask for our friend Mark.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA SIPC.
Hey, did you see the story of the Biological Resource Center in Arizona? It was raided a few years ago, and the testimony has just come out that one of the FBI guys that was involved in this raid, what he saw, his eyewitness testimony about what was going on here. It's a place that takes bodies. Like they're like, oh, you're broke. Well, when he dies, can we have the body and for research or whatever? They're like, yeah, as long as they're like, we'll give you back something to cremate, blah blah blah, but we'll pay for the pickup of the collection of the body and da da da. And people are like, oh, okay, cool. And so a head sewn onto a mismatched body, a bucket of limbs, and a cooler. They found a bag of fucking panooses in a bag. It was like,
Just a bag of dicks.
dude, all the times we've been telling E to eat a bag of dicks,
Yeah,
it actually could have been done.
they exist. Bags of dicks.
Dude, we could have actually, had we known, had
Wonder how
eat
many-
a bag of dicks.
How many and how heavy it was then? Like
A burlap sack.
yeah,
What do
could
we-
you just walk around like it over your shoulder?
Well,
knapsack
I think
of
it was in a
dicks.
cooler filled. They said filled with penises.
Just the shaft then? Or I wonder if testicles as well?
Back up. Who did this and why?
Biological Research Center. They're a for-profit. They're now closed. Specialized in accepting the bodies of people after they had died, and in exchange, offering their families free pickup of the bodies plus the cremated remains of the body parts the company did not sell. So if your dong just wasn't hot shit, something just whoosh, throw it in the bag. You know what I mean? So it's probably a lot of small white dicks in there. Be easier to eat, I guess.
Sure.
So an FBI agent, this is back in January 2014 raid, he stumbles onto what he described as various unsettling scenes. The agent's eyewitness account of the raid is revealed in a civil lawsuit. So people are suing the owner going, yeah, you weren't very nice to my dead body, my friend's dead body. That's not nice. 33 plaintiffs sued, saying the family members' remains were obtained through false statements. Body parts are being sold for profit to various middlemen. Oh, how grim a business is that?
I know, man.
I sell body parts as a middleman. What? And that they were not stored, treated, or disposed of with dignity or respect. I would say, yeah, if you're sewing wrong heads onto bodies. Former Phoenix FBI Special Agent Mark Swiner.
Does that matter though? I mean, assuming the family's giving this over, knowing the deal, it's getting picked up, we'll throw you a little cash,
Well,
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, does the dignity really matter at that point?
Here's
Like,
the thing.
it's not like they're stealing them.
So organ donation,
Yeah.
we're all familiar with organ donation.
Right.
Organ donation and body donation are not the same thing. And so a lot of people think, oh yeah, you're gonna use this body for research or to make a blind girl see. Mm-hmm. No, they're just like cutting off a foot and selling it, on the side.
For study, obviously, to medical organizations.
Well, when I hear middleman, that's when you get into fucking black market shit. I don't know. It's not very regulated, it sounds like. So many of the body parts this guy saw were piled on top of one another with no apparent ID on them for what bodies they came from or whom they belonged. In addition to a cooler filled with dicks, and I mean filled with dicks. You could barely close this thing. There's so many dicks in there. Also, a large torso with a head removed and replaced with a smaller head sewn together in a Frankenstein manner. It doesn't mean Frankenstein manner, but
You know, everybody's had that Tupperware bowl or whatever where you're trying to squeeze too much rice into it or something. You got to take a couple scoops out. Imagine they're just dicks in a cooler, and you're like trying to push it around. You got to take 2 out. See, no, it still doesn't close. Take 3 more out. Okay, now it closes.
And you know when you've only got 2 hands, you can only hold so many dicks. So it's like fuck, put one in your mouth just to open up a free slot for another dick. Yeah, it's not good. I mean, dude, couldn't you see? Like, I could see walking into work. I walk into work. Jay and I are working in this biological resource center. If I turn the corner, I could just see dicks being whipped at me. Like, you're standing there in the corner, like,
Whap!
dick fight, whap, whap. It's like, fuck, dude, stop.
Money would be in there too. They're not hard. These are, you know what I mean? They're going to be in their worst state of dick.
Dicks are kind of throwable. They're kind of throwable.
You could think about, you could ball them up probably, right?
Yeah, take a whole handful of dicks and just squeeze them together. And
8 dicks at once. Whip them, and it explodes like fucking buckshot.
But even one, just take it by the helmet and slap. It's like you're throwing an axe.
You stick it to the wall.
Yeah, man. Creepy crawler.
Is there any chance we could work in a facility that had in its possession a box full of dicks and not slingshot some dicks outside?
So. At some point, you'd have to.
Like, dude, we'd play baseball with dicks. We would fling them with slingshots. Like, see who could launch one the farthest. We would.
The first day, you'd be a little weird, and then you'd become desensitized, and then they were just there. And you're right. You would start chucking dicks around.
Juggling dicks.
Coming in, you're juggling dicks. Playing ping pong with a dick. Dude, we would do really, I could see sewing a smaller head onto a body too, because that would look weird and cool, right?
That's funny.
Walk into work, be like, really, dude, really?
Little man with a big head.
Yeah, you've got a shrunken head, guy. His head was getting too big for him, so we've fixed.
You could put a big head on a regular, much smaller person, stand him up, and have him just fall down.
No, just so we can heed pants now.
Oh my God!
Large male torsos with limbs and genitalia removed. Buckets and coolers with various body parts, including a bucket of heads, arms, and legs. Body parts piled on top of each other throughout the facility with absolutely no ID.
I don't know how it wouldn't smell, though, unless it's a refrigerated system, because those don't decompose.
Yeah, is this a big cooler that he's in, or what's...
It's the Biological Research Center.
Okay. Well, never mind.
I mean, it's a regulatory-free zone, Arizona is, for the body parts industry. So there's at least 4 of these body donation companies operating in Arizona.
I remember some dude in Michigan getting in trouble because he was selling heads. He got caught with a head, an unlicensed head, I think. And his thing was, and it was true, he was selling heads to like dental schools, and they would work on the jaws and the teeth, obviously, and use the head in that way. So there...
Any chance he made the female heads blow him?
I don't think we can assume that these weren't
before setting them on
the the market for medical organizations, but
at some point. But
I mean, do you know anybody, even on the margins of your life, who's bought a body part?
Probably Gary, the dead body expert, maybe.
No, man.
No,
he was on the other side of it.
So yeah, Mr. Gore, who owned the place, his name Stephen Gore, he's being sued, right, by these families. That's why we're getting some of the details here. I
could see buying a pinky toe and putting it on a necklace.
Fucking ain't right, dude. I've got a price list coming up, so we'll see.
Oh wow!
In 2015, Gore tearfully pled guilty to conducting an illegal enterprise after accusations that he had provided vendors with contaminated human tissue, used body parts in ways that donors had not permitted. I could have been more open about the process of donation on the brochure we put out in the public. When deciding which donors could be eligible to donate, I should have hired a medical director rather than relying on medical knowledge from books or the internet. Graduated high school and was Googling shit. How to care for a fucking dead body.
Yeah.
So one of the problems is that families thought body donation meant organ donation.
Yeah.
And they learned, you cut his dicks off. And wait, why does my guy have a tiny head now? So they weren't all aware that they often dismembered and sold various body parts. So a 2013 price list that is part of the court file indicates sale prices for body parts. Whole body, no shoulders or head. What would you guys pay for that?
Man, what would I pay?
$800.
See, I was thinking. I was thinking his prices were jacked up because he says $2,900. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not paying $29 for a fucking no shoulders or head body.
I know.
I stand by my $800.
800 is not bad. I'd go as high as 1,000,
Okay.
maybe.
But 2,900.
I like that he picked 800, not 1,000. Like most people, I don't know, 1,500 bucks, 2,000 bucks, 1,000 bucks, 800. He like thought about 1,000 and then reduced it for some reason, right?
He was almost irritated that the question was asked. It was like, 800. I don't. Torso,
right, that is a
torso
dumb
with
answer.
head.
Torso with
So you're just
head.
getting a bust, essentially, right? Torso with head.
Yeah, but it's more interesting in many ways.
You could slap it. You can stick shit in its mouth that doesn't belong there.
1,500.
He's charging $2,400.
Yeah.
I was
Only
thinking
500 less? I thought it was 2,900 for the full body.
whole body, but whole body gives you legs, arms, dong, butthole,
That's my point.
buttocks.
Like, that seems like a
No, the full body was shoulders and head down.
Missing.
Yeah, missing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
you just got
So-
torso down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is, you could
Yeah.
bang it, I guess. You could bang that body, but you couldn't kiss it or slap it, which would suck. Whole spine.
God.
Doesn't that seem like a weird thing to have on your tab, on your list there?
Those doctors have to have that thing in the in the room somehow, right? The little.
Yeah, we've seen those.
Yeah, I didn't realize those were real.
Yeah.
Those were plastic.
$950.
Okay.
That's not a terrible rate. I mean, you could, yeah. What do you get? What do you guys pay for a whole leg?
Make a leg lamp.
Yeah, you could.
Man, I'm gonna go. Here's where I go. 800.
1,100 he's charging, and I think he's high, but I think you're a touch low. I think at 900 to 1,000 is fair. Does it depend on whose leg? Like if it's a big person's leg, or
Yeah, is it some gross hairy dude's leg? I don't want that.
No, what about a fidget's leg?
When he's selling these things, you say,
got
see,
that.
now you sit there and you get into that. When he's selling these things and you say, doesn't matter, he must be having discussions with people and he says, look at, and what if he has competition where he's like, look at John's body thing over there. They just take legs out of a bag and you don't know if you're going to get a good one or a bad one. You buy them from me, trust me, they're top-notch legs. Like,
So gross.
I'm just,
what would you guys pay for a whole foot?
$200.
500.
450.
Okay.
It's his rate. All right, we might have a deal here, Jay. I mean, if you're willing to pay $5, call him up, get you a foot. What would you do with a whole foot? Like a whole
Paperweight.
Foot? Yeah, paperweight's not bad.
Oh my god.
I wouldn't mind throwing
That'd
it
be
at someone,
intimidating, dude,
surprising
if you
your
were-
friend when he comes over, whipping a foot at him. Would you walk around and kick people in the balls with it?
Sure.
Kind of cool.
Well, that'd be, yeah, for sure.
What do you guys pay for a knee?
How do you even,
I don't know. I don't know if
I
that
wouldn't
means-
pay much for that, honestly.
no,
I
who
wouldn't
cares?
either. Does that mean they're like giving you this?
I know, you're right. Or is
Like-
it just,
And that's $375
It's too much.
starter.
I think
Yeah, I
100,
think too.
maybe 100.
What about a pelvis? Anyone in the market for a pelvis? $400.
Okay.
They don't mention the noose. What the fuck is this guy charging for a noose?
I know they were
know what I
bagging
mean?
them. They had to have been selling.
Yeah, I mean, like if I walked in there, it's like, dude, you got a whole cooler full of nooses, man. Let me $50. Let me have one.
Make a necklace, get a few, make a Panoose necklace.
Can you imagine walking in? Look what I bought, boys. Drop a dong down on the table.
Just stinks. It's rotting panoose. Ugh.
But if you suck at beegers or something, want to practice at home on your own time,
Oh boy.
you know what I mean? If you send her a message like, "Yeah, I thought you could use the practice," and send her a dick
Those
in a
dildos
box.
aren't the same. You need the real,
No.
real experience.
I got you a dick in a box to practice. It's a great Christmas gift.
Hey everybody, get a 2-pack. My Pillows Premiums for $69.98. That's only $34.99 per pillow, which is the lowest price ever offered on podcast, radio, or TV. This offer is only available at mypillow.com. Of course, use promo code TDC.
How are we doing for email?
We do have some email, Mike. Now, before we get to email, however, we've received a gift.
Oh no.
If you'd like to mail us something, and if you're going to mail us anthrax, please label it care of ESIS.
Yep.
You can mail said objects to P.O. Box 250268, Franklin, Michigan 48025. like Melissa did. Melissa sent us a nice little, I don't know what you call this, a little.
Whoa! That's Marcus
Yeah.
Pfister.
It's Marcus Pfister's work, the
Yeah.
rainbow fish. It's a pictured
Wow.
framed object here.
What is that?
Hey Jay, hi Mike, hi Isis. Found this little gem on Facebook Marketplace and thought it might be nice. It might be a nice addition to the new and improved Radio for One studios. If it's too gay for you guys, maybe Sweet Pie wants to hang it in her room. I'm just glad I didn't get murdered when I went to pick it up off a stranger's porch and can live another day to listen to the podcast. Bye, B-U-Y. Winky face, Melissa.
It's the Rainbow Fish Pain by Marcus Pfister.
Yeah,
Barely know her. He was born in Switzerland. Did you know that, Marcus Pfister?
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Not until I read the back.
Where he trained as a graphic artist and designer. He began his career in advertising, but after traveling, returned as a freelance graphic artist. He's the author and illustrator of a number of award-winning children's books. Rainbow Fish is just one of his much-loved creations about a beautiful fish. Finds friendship. It's a great book. It's got
You didn't
great
get
lessons.
to the one fact that astounded me about Rainbow Fish and Marcus Pfister.
About a beautiful fish that finds friendship and happiness when she learns to share.
She? I
What?
thought it was a dude the whole
What?
time. She?
She.
That's
Rainbow Fish is a
Wow, that was not let known in the
chick? Right?
book.
I thought the whole time this is a
Look
dude.
what happens though. You assumed, and what did you assume? There was a he. Of course you would.
You know what
Well-
happens when you assume?
I assumed it was a gay guy. Rainbow. I thought it was a gay fish.
Thought it was a guy the whole time. Honestly, did it
Sexist.
ever occur to
I
you
don't
that it
even
was a
know.
chick?
No, you wouldn't.
I call all animals he's, so
Yeah.
Well,
I just always say, like,
I mean, there's not even a hint of tit. She's not budding or anything. There's no titties
I
on
know.
her. There's certainly no gash.
Looks like a dude to me.
Hell yeah. God, that's beautiful. Rainbow fish. I like that guy.
Thank you, Melissa. You know, she mentioned that Facebook Marketplace. Are you guys familiar with these things?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have like a Lake Orion specific one. I guess
Yeah.
all communities do. I don't know how this works, but you post shit you want to sell for
Yeah,
$10, and then you
pretty cool.
leave it on your porch, and people come and get it, leave $10 for you, and they're gone. You know?
Is that how it
Yeah,
works?
that's how it works. We sell types of shit through
You
this.
do?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's
and
very
it's all
effective.
honor system?
Yeah, I mean, or you can meet the person if you want.
No.
Right. You'd rather just, it's be by my door, come pick it up.
But what if it's
Yeah, we've
something
never
valuable?
been stiffed. Well, if it was valuable, I think you'd want to meet the person, right? But if it's
You don't
50
own
bucks or
anything
under,
valuable, though, so.
I truly don't. But if 50 bucks or less, wouldn't you just be like, leave 50 bucks in the folder? And I don't know.
Yeah, I guess.
Leave it under the
I don't-
rock.
I don't have much faith in humanity these
Yeah.
days, so it's just like,
Yeah, but anybody's going to buy you're coming to get a little, motorcycle that Russell used to ride.
Yeah, I know, but the first day, the first time you have to make that call, and the guy goes, I don't know, bro, I left it on the porch.
Yeah.
I left it on the porch, bro, in an envelope. I don't know what to tell you. Sorry, bro.
Guess that happens.
Yeah.
Aaron writes in concerning deplaning and whatnot. Eric inquired during Mike's grievance about deplaning, who is the person that doesn't want to get off the plane? Most of the time, it's me. I'm that guy, says Aaron. Let me qualify. I always seek to get a seat in the last row of the plane. The back of the plane, like the back of the bus, is
By the
where the
toilet.
cool kids hang out. I get no dirty looks if I want to get up to stretch repeatedly during the flight. If I have to take a whiz, I have 1, maybe 2 steps to make, and I don't have to walk all the way just to find out if the facilities are occupied. When all you sheep are standing waiting to deplane, I'm finishing the movie that I started watching, catching up on emails, texts, or shooting the shit with the sky waitresses or waiters. I generally find if I'm in the back, I'll also get an extra package or 2 of Biscoff cookies.
Oh, they're the best.
what
My dad hoards them.
I don't know what those are, but
They're
he
the,
says,
they're the little, like, round, thin. They're delicious.
have to
A
bring that.
hint of cinnamon in them. Oh, they're great.
Aaron says, sidebar, are Biscoff cookies not one of the best goddamn cookies ever?
Yeah, they
And
really
sidebar.
are.
And extra pop when politely requested. If I have a layover, I'll make the flight, or I won't. Either way, I'll get there eventually, says Aaron. The difference in time deplaning has zero bearing on how fast my checked bag is going to make it to the next plane. If it's not possible for my bag to get there, I ain't making it there either. If I have to get baggage, I'll arrive at the carousel before the luggage arrives still. If there's going to be empty seats, they're usually in the back, so my fat ass has some room to spread out. So, Eric, I'm that guy as long as I'm in the last 2 rows of the plane. All that goes out the window if I'm any further up.
Yeah. He's making a
decent
strong
points.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, there
making a
was a- yeah.
strong argument for that.
But you have to have that fundamental, patience where you just go, okay, you know what, I'm going to finish the movie. I'm not going to be in a hurry to
Yeah.
get to where I need to get. And with that mindset, I mean, you can sit anywhere on the plane and not be bothered by deplaning.
Yeah, all of a sudden traffic doesn't bother you
Yeah.
either. Just rush hour traffic. Great, I'll get there when I get there.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't work like that. The other thing is, you're not getting more Biscoff cookies because you're in the last row shooting the shit and kissing ass.
He claims to be.
Here's the trick. They're going to try to give you one. Whether they bring the basket or, would you like a snack? You go, I'll have 2 Cheez-Its and 2 Bischoff cookies.
Bischoff
and you know what? They're going to give you all 4 things. And when they say, would you like a beverage? They're dying to give you that clear plastic piece of shit cup and then give you a sip of water or Sprite. I'll have a can. And my thing is I always order Canada Dry, the ginger ale, planes. I don't know what it is. It's all I'll drink on them. So when they
Ginger helps settle your stomach.
yeah, maybe that's it.
Oh
but
my gosh.
but the people around me, they get their cup with their ice and their Coke, and then they're taken care of, and then I'll go, I'll have a can of the blah blah Canada Dry. I'm like, oh sir, and then they hand me my empty cup of ice, pop it and set it down, and people are like, you bad
Baller. Just a baller.
Wow, I didn't know you could do that. You know what else you can do? Ring the fucking bing. Get that nurse back over here. I need a refill. So you're not getting an extra can of Coke because you're hot or because you're sitting next to the shitter.
You're simply asking the sky waitress, and
Yeah.
she's reacting to your request. I've never seen a Bischoff
What?
cookie. Bischoff cookie.
You looking at the package? Let me see if you got it
I'm
right.
looking at it, man. Never seen the Bischoff.
Oh, dude, they're.
I'll take your word. For
I
it.
might have one upstairs from a recent flight.
I'll take your word for it, Mike.
They're once you go Bischoff, you'll never go back. I'm telling you, it will start something.
Hey, we'll save the rest for tomorrow.
All right, let's get out of here. I'm gonna go watch the highlights. New episode of the news tonight. Brand new season kicking off, and they've got this Mueller guy. It's fascinating. What's going
Just
down?
fascinating.
So, I got to get up there and watch tonight's latest episode of news. So with that, we'll call it a day. We'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully, you'll join us.
You've been listening to the Detroit Cast with your hosts, Mike and Jay. From all of us at Radio for One Studios, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you, Detroit.